Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's always a pleasure to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to be going through the rest of the matches in round 2 over in Cincinnati today. As always, we'll be sure to go through each and every one of them. If you get your comments in with your predictions, if there's anything that I'll be taking personally, it'll be in that pinned comment where it always is. Feel free to check that out. You can take it if you want, leave it if you must. It's entirely up to you. Before we get started, like the video. If you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. I'd appreciate it if you did. We do continue to grow each and every day at a rather impressive rate too. I'm very proud of what we're doing over here, folks. We did it, that 2.4k in yesterday's video. Happy days. Sound. I'm loving that. Very grateful for each and every one of you. Appreciate all the support. Means a lot to me. We keep on going. Let's keep on keeping on doing our thing. Like I always say, the consistency and the originality will see us through to where we need to be. I can guarantee you that. It's only a matter of time. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but soon. One day soon, folks. No doubt. But let's get into it, Let's waste no more time. It's enough of that gay banter. How did we get on? Yesterday? I had a fairly decent day, to say the least. 3 official plays from me. They were in that pinned comment. If you didn't know, that's where they are. I had Benjamin Bonzi plus that 3.5. I felt a bit weird going for that. It didn't feel right. Kind of up until the match started, I didn't know whether I'd made the right choice or not. Kind of firing from the hip on that one, and he ended up winning outright. He ended up winning straight up. Who would have thought? The curious case of Benjamin Bonzi. Thank you very much, Monsieur. Plus 3.5, I shall take that. And then Holger Rune and Felix Auger-Aliassime on a double. Even money, I'll take that. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf would say. Nice little chunk of profit for me. Not as much as what it could have been. Casper Ruud and Zizou Bergs had other ideas for today. But I ain't going to be crying about that. Profit is profit, and it's something to build on. Let's see what we can do for today. Let me know. Did you win? Did you lose? Did you just come close? And we'll get right into business, folks. Let's get it on. Right, so first off, for us today, we've got Comesana and Darderi. If this was on the clay, I think this would be one of the better matches of the day for us. But unfortunately, it's not on the dirt. It is indeed on the hard court. But I still think it'll be interesting in other ways. Absolutely. They've played each other once before, back in 2022 on the clay in Argentina. That did go the way of Francisco Comesana, straight sets. Wouldn't have said it helps us much in this spot today. Quite impressed with Comesana. Probably shouldn't be that surprised he managed to get one done against Jaume Munar. But Jaume Munar was quite a big favourite in that one. We kind of understood why. Comesana, straight sets. Happy days. He most certainly shut me up on that one. Luciano Darderi, let us not forget the blazing hop form that he's currently still in, until we see otherwise. He's currently still in that red hop form. Back-to-back titles to wrap it up on the clay over in Sweden and over in Croatia. This guy was untouchable, unplayable, fantastic. Got a couple of concerns, and you know exactly what they are. We all watch these games, we all follow the sport, we all know, well, for the most part, we all know what we're dealing with when it comes to these. Both of them most definitely prefer the clay. That is certainly no secret to us. Look, Luciano Darderi, 26 and 12 on the clay, fantastic, brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. 1 and 5 on the hard court. Just the one match on the hard court all season. If you can remember, think back to the start of the season. He was to say he was struggling would probably be quite the understatement. Khachanov, Nuno Bosch, Pedro Martinez, Hugo Gaston. He then beat Pedro Martinez in the first round in Miami, and then he got beat by Adam Walton. That is it. That is all there is as far as Luciano Darderi's hard court season goes. And we ain't seen him transition back. He should be more than rested. I'd say he should be more than ready to give it a fairly decent go in this. Like I say, I think he beat Comesana. If he'd have played him over on the clay, I think why would he not have beat him? He beat everyone else. Comesana's not much better on the hard court, but I will say this, the record stands at 5 wins, 5 losses, which, although it's not great, it's far from amazing. It's still a hell of a lot better than what we've got from the Italians. So I would love to sit here and say, going off what we've seen last time out in both of them tournaments, riding off the form, I'd love to take Luciano Darderi as a dog in this, even for a set, but it don't quite work like that, does it? It just doesn't quite work like that. I'm afraid you could take either one of these for a set as a sweet parlay piece. I couldn't talk you off of that. I would like to assume, excuse me, I would like to assume Luciano Darderi can turn up to this one. At least take a set. At least take a set. Like I said, you've got 2 clay merchants going at it on the hard court. Anything could happen. The odds are that close for a reason. Considering Comesana was such a big dog against Jaime Munat, he's now quite a small favourite in this one against the Italian. So, my voice is going. I do apologise. We'll persevere. Don't worry about it. I don't know how I feel about him being a favourite in this one. We'll just leave it at that. We could be in for an over. We could be in for a long one. Darderi for a set. I haven't got nothing concrete on that one, I'm afraid. Got Alex de Minaur and Rally Opelka. I suppose it would have to be Alex de Minaur, wouldn't it? I suppose I'd have to go with the Demon in this one. Played each other 5 times over the years. All 5 going the way of the Demon. That's right. They haven't seen each other since 2022. And it'd probably come as no surprise to learn that we usually get tiebreakers in this one. That's right. Out of the 5 matches, there has been, give me one sec, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiebreaks in 5 games. Maybe that's an angle you could approach this one at. It's just food for thought. 1.3, and people are taking it too. I'm currently seeing 1.27 for the Demon in this one. I don't know how much there is to say about this. I mean, complete contrast of styles. Rally Opelka, that serve will have to be immaculate in order for him to take out the Demon today. He did get past Hugo Dellien. We all knew he was going to get past Hugo Dellien, but I have to say, it was a lot closer than I would have liked, especially coming into this 7-5 and then a tiebreak. I thought Hugo Dellien would have struggled a bit more than that. But it is what it is. A win is a win. How's Alex de Minaur going to hold up? You know, coming off that title, what a run that was over in Washington, getting to the quarters in Toronto, kind of looked like the wheels fell off against Ben Shelton. Shelton played perfect, like he was fantastic. I'm not taking anything away, but I don't know. I kind of expected a little bit more from the Demon. Maybe that's just me, but we come into this a few days later. What's it going to be, 4 or 5 days later? I'd like to think he'd be rested enough to give it another go, especially against Rally Opelka. I would like to think all you would have to do is stifle the serve, that's exactly what de Minaur does. He can stifle the serve of all the big hitters, redirects the pace perfect as well. He really does make them play within their own pace, see if they're comfortable with it or not. I think, like I said, look, it's just going to be one of them. And if Opelka can turn up and do what he does with his serve, then there's not a lot. Not even only Alex de Minaur. There's not a lot anyone can do when he comes with that. He just blasts it past you. More often than not. You tend to break yourself when you're playing this guy. But I'd like to think Alex de Minaur has got more than enough in the bag to take on Rally Opelka. I mean, he's done it 5 times before. Ain't played each other in a few years. If he was beating them all that time ago, I'd like to think he stands just as good, if not a lot more of a chance to do so today. 1.27. At that price, I wouldn't be going anywhere near it. But I couldn't see Rally Opelka getting past the Demon today. Absolutely not. So we'll move on to Jiří Lehecka and Tristan Boyer. It's going to be a quick one. 1.15 for Jiří Lehecka. That's one of the biggest favourites we've got on the day. You know what I always say with these, the same rule applies. If you're looking for the value and the value alone, you're probably going to have to do something regarding the total, or take the dog on the spread. Take the dog straight up, maybe look at them total games played. I've certainly got no business in this one today. I would imagine Lehecka should be getting it done. You don't need me to tell you that. The difference in level and calibre in this one is night and day. Although I will say about Tristan Boyer, the past week or two I've kind of seen him win more games than what I've seen him do all season, and that's not saying he's been, well, to say the least, he's 16 and 23. I just haven't watched him that much. That's what it is. I haven't been an avid viewer of Tristan Boyer, but I've seen more of him the past few weeks because he's kind of been put in my face, in the main draw and whatnot. But he's all right. He's got a decent serve. But apart from that, I mean, Lehecka is just a completely different beast. From this guy. So it would be Lehecka. How are you going to approach it? I have no idea. Odds are horrendous in that one. So we'll crack on to Jakub Mensik and Ethan Quinn. Oh, what a nightmare. What a nightmare this is going to be. Jakub Mensik last time out against Davidovich Fokina. And that's not an against Davidovich Fokina, while we're faced with him, he's been one of the better players on the tour all season, so I don't mean it in that regard. Jakub Mensik just played really shit. He turned up and he just played shit. He didn't look anything like what I thought, and more importantly, what we know he can look like on the hard court. Everything failed him on the day. Pretty much everything failed him. And when that serve's not hitting for Jakub Mensik, you may as well just call it quits. You may as well just throw in the fucking towel, mate. It's curtains. Ethan Quinn's decent, and I do believe Ethan Quinn is just the type of opponent that can give some troubles to Jakub Mensik today. Providing we get a Jakub Mensik that's maybe not firing, maybe not fully ready, struggling somewhat. Both of them have got really good serves. I don't think Ethan Quinn's serve is probably as heavy as Mensik's, if we're being completely honest, but I think everything else I think he should be able to hang with him. They played each other once before. That was on the clay earlier on in the season over in Madrid. Tie break in the first, and then Mensik just fucking whooped him in the second. 6-1. It's clay. It's different, innit? It's clay. I think Ethan Quinn most definitely prefers these hard surfaces, these quicker courts. 19 and 9 on the hard court this year for Ethan Quinn. Jakub Mensik 17 and 7. We always have to go back to that Masters title over in Miami. It was very impressive indeed. If you're going off that, like we do most of the time, you'd say, then he's got more than enough, possesses more than enough, more than capable to beat Ethan Quinn today on the hard court. But the truth is, I just don't know what I'm going to get from Mensik. He's went 1-1 since we've come back to the hard court. Tristan Boyer, it was a decent enough win, but I think it was 6-4, was it? Where is it? So yeah, 6-4. It is what it is. He was a big favourite in that. And then the match against Davidovich Fokina, I had him to win just one set, and it barely looked like he was going to win a point. So I don't know. It's rough. And I'm only saying this because of the price is 1.35. Mensik is very highly favoured to get this one done. Ethan Quinn, did anyone take him against Khachanov? It was quite a decent dog shout, that, was it? No, I had a feeling he'd get that one done. At least take a set. He beat him in straight sets. He's been alright. I mean, I probably wouldn't say that. He's went 3-2 since we've come back to the hard court. The wins aren't much to write home about, if I'm being honest with you. Christopher O'Connell, Nishioka, and then Khachanov. He's been beaten twice by Brandon Nakashima. Tough. It's a tough one. It is a tough one indeed. I think, I probably wouldn't read into the last time out too much on the clay. I do think it'll be a bit more entertaining, probably a bit closer this time. I think Ethan Quinn stands probably his best chance against Jakub Mensik, and it depends what version of Mensik as well. So like I say, if we get the version of Mensik that turned up against Davidovich Fokina, I don't see why Ethan Quinn couldn't take advantage of that. Certainly not. Lean towards him for a set while the price is right. I couldn't touch Jakub Mensik at 1.3 for those that are having a go on this. That's just my 2 cents on it. I kind of would have. I'd expect him to win, because why wouldn't you? You know, he's Jakub Mensik's top 20. Ethan Quinn is barely, I say barely top 100. He's 86. He's in the top 100 now. He's rising. He's most definitely on the rise. But is he quite Jakub Mensik level? He's a year older than him. I don't know. This may be a more suitable matchup for Jakub Mensik the more I think about it. I'd expect him to get it done, but I wouldn't trust him at that price. And then we'll move on to oh no, we've got Tien and Andrei Rublev again. No, not again. They're not going to do this to us again, are they? No way. Me personally, folks, I don't fancy watching Rublev get beat by Tien for a second time in what is the matter of a couple of weeks, really. We've seen this last time in Washington. Straight sets, 7-5, 6-2 in the second round. Honestly, lad, you just can't write it. He didn't look that good, did he? He didn't look too great at all, did Andrei Rublev. And he comes into this one as pretty much just as big as a favourite as what he did the other day. I've got him around 1.5. Anyone else? 1.5? Any takers for Andrei Rublev at 1.5? I wouldn't have thought so. Tien, you can get him around 2.5, I imagine, based on what we've seen over in Washington. That would be a lot more tempting. Like I said, I don't want to believe that Rublev's going to turn up and get beat by Tien. It's not impersonal. It's not impersonal against Tien. He's really good. You know, he's a lot better than what maybe I would have given credit for over the season. But Rublev, man, come on. Just come on, mate. What are you doing? You need to win this. You need to win this. And these are the ones that you just pretty much can't fucking win. I don't know why. It was very convincing last time for Tien. I was pretty impressed. I was rather surprised because he didn't struggle at all. I don't know what it is with Andrei Rublev. I don't know what it is at all. You just can't get it right with him. You just can't get it right. How good does this guy have to play until you're fully certain? Because I don't know. Because every time it feels like the going's getting good for Andrei Rublev, you start to trust him a little bit. And these are just the type of matchups that he lets you down in. Evidently, like he did last time as well, I imagine I would have fancied him to beat Tien in Washington. And he stood no chance. Madness. Absolute madness. I think on the hard court this season, you've got to give your props to the American. He has been more efficient than Andrei Rublev. 17-8 on the surface, 10-8 for Rublev. 28-18 overall for the Russian, 24-19 for Tien. You know, apart from the hard court, he doesn't really do much damage anywhere else. But I've kind of noticed that he doesn't really go deep in these tournaments. You know, excluding qualifying, if we're not including these qualifying matches, we're just talking strictly main draws, 2 or 3 games. Very lucky to get into that third round, and he's extremely lucky if he gets out to that third round, which leads me to believe he's already won one match over in Cincinnati, that one being against Leandro Reedy in the first round. But that would lead me to believe that it's either going to be this one or the next one, where it all comes crumbling down for Tien. I would prefer it to not be the latter. I would like it to be this one. Like I say, it's not like a fade. It's not like I want him to lose. I just really want Andrei Rublev to win. It's pure and simple, just like that. But I can't trust him. He's 1.5. He's 1.5. If we're doing business on this, I'll just say this, and you'll probably agree. We said it about one of the other matches the other night. I think it was the Felix match. I ended up taking that anyway, but that was a little bit different. Every one of these Rublev games feels like a 50-50 to me. They all feel like a 50-50, like a coin flip. And quite frankly, but I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in these. And if you think you do, you're lying. Simple. If you think you know that Rublev's going to win, or you think you know he's going to place you, you don't. No one knows. This guy is impossible. He's become impossible anyway. It's a damn shame. With him being quite heavily favoured, and with all that being said, I would have to lean towards Tien for at least a set. For at least just the one set. Once again, in the matter of a few weeks. How much can change? I'm not too sure. Maybe just, this is probably perfect for it in play. This is perfect for it in play. Rublev usually is. You'll probably get better prices somewhere along the line earlier on, I would imagine. I can't trust them. I just cannot trust them whatsoever. This would have to be like a 6-2 or a 6-3 in the first set, and then maybe a early break or a double break in the second for me to go, you know what, yeah, he's probably going to win this one. He's probably going to win. But it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. You can't trust me. It's never over until it's over with this guy. 1.5. I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I would love him to win. My prediction would be... No, it wouldn't be. I'd just take Tien for a set, innit? I'm not going to sit here and just say take Andrei Rublev. I can't. I could not advise anyone to do any business with Andrei Rublev. I probably wouldn't do any business with this match. There's plenty of others, there's plenty of better ones that you could take today other than this. I'm looking forward to watching it, no doubt. Tien for a set, and it's killing me to say it, but I could not advise you against anything of, well, advise you to go with anything other than that, based on what we've seen already. Fingers crossed Rublev gets it done. I wouldn't be betting on him to do so, absolutely not. And then, oh my god, back to back, we've got Roberto Bautista Agut and Cam Norrie. Fuck me. What are they doing to me? What are they doing to us here? Who's in charge? Who's in charge of this, man? These have played each other 4 times. Over the years, Cam Norrie has won all 4 of them, and he's beat them everywhere. All surface, all terrain. Doesn't really matter where you want it. Cam Norrie will give it to you if you're Roberto Bautista Agut, obviously. Beat him this year in Wimbledon, 3-1. Last year on the clay, straight sets. 2021, Indian Wells, 2-1, and then Davis Cup, 2018. Now, half of those matches may be rendered rather fucking irrelevant in this one, I will admit. But it seems to me that Cam Norrie has got Bautista Agut's number. It seems that way anyway. 4-0, that's quite a one-sided head-to-head. We're getting Cam Norrie around 1.6. Do I agree with that? I'm being forced to agree with it. Because I did expect him to be a favourite in this one, even if it was just only slightly. Would I be taking it? No. I'm afraid not. I trusted Cam Norrie to get it done against Alexander Vukic over in Toronto. And let's just say what I witnessed over there, he left a lot to be desired. There was a lot to be desired about that performance. Remember he had his medical timeout? Remember Cam Norrie's medical timeout? Think back to the end of last month. He gets his medical timeout. He needs to get his blood pressure taken, and it's quite high. A bit higher than normal. And he's going, I can't really see that well. What do you mean you can't see? What does that mean? I was rather concerned. I was, not for the bet. The bet could wait, but it weren't even a case of, I've overextended on the serve. I've rolled an ankle. I reached for the backhand. I can't see that good. Bro, you may need to go somewhere and see someone. This may be beyond tennis. If you're having palpitations and you can't see, that's rather concerning. But then he just gets up and he sees out the rest of the match. And probably shouldn't joke about it because it is serious enough. But going off the result, I'd say he couldn't fucking see. It looked like he was trying to locate that ball purely with sonar. Honest to God, it was just, you couldn't write it. It was a shame. It was a damn shame. And it's not what I wanted to see coming into this one. Most definitely not. Maybe it was just a little bit of a snide patch, but I don't think I can say that about Cam Norrie because has he been in a good patch this season? 27, 21, it's not that bad. We're talking hard court anyway, 8 and 10 on the hard court. It's not that great. I expected a bit more from him. You're getting taken to 3 sets and beaten in the distance by Alexander Vukic, and that's not personal against Vukic, but he ain't exactly been a world beater this season either. So the quality of a match with that type of opponent at this level, it kind of does speak volumes. But, in good news for Cam Norrie, he's coming up against Bautista Agut, so maybe all that won't mean anything today. Maybe all that will be for nothing. Maybe he'll turn up and he'll look great against Bautista Agut, and all will be forgiven, at least for this tournament anyway. Batista Agut, I mean, he's just crafty, isn't he? He's so crafty, he's so sneaky. If Cam Norrie hasn't been that good on the hard court this season rather, then Batista Agut's been shite. Been super duper shite. 2-6 on the hard court, 1-2 indoors. Am I going to be trusting that? These odds are so close. These odds are so close. Considering, given the head-to-head, given the hard court record of the pair of them, you'd probably expect Cam Norrie to be bigger of a favourite, wouldn't you? I suppose. But I don't know. 1.6 is the price you're paying for the favourite today. I don't think I'd be brave enough to go anywhere near Batista Agut. We really are picking the best of a bad bunch at the moment, so that will be a big fat no for me, and I'll pass on that. I'll lean towards an over. I'll lean towards Cam Norrie, even though it's killing me to do it after what I've seen against Vukic, and we shall move on to Jenson Brooksby and Artur Cazaux. I think I'm starting to get palpitations. I'm starting to go fucking blind trying to predict some of these. Jenson Brooksby, Artur Cazaux. Hands up, we were all impressed, yeah. We were all impressed with Artur Cazaux over on the clay the last two tournaments. Yeah, it wasn't just me. Didn't think so. He played really good. Man, but it was a hell of a lot more than what we've seen all season. We keep saying he kind of snapped back into a bit of form come Wimbledon qualifiers, and then that carried over into the clay tournaments. And then he's went 1-1 in qualifying for Cincinnati. 1-1 on the hard court since he's come back, beat Mark Liel in 3, and then got beat by Tarante in straight sets, who turned up as a favourite against Nardi and didn't look too great himself. So how much that means, I'm not too sure. You take from that what you will. But going off what we've seen when he was playing good on the clay, Artur Cazaux was good. He was a problem. He was tough to deal with. Jenson Brooksby, ever since he spawned, kind of disappointing. Maybe it's not fair to say kind of disappointing, He had a good run on the grass. Didn't do too much on the hard court to start the season, so maybe I should lower my expectations for Jenson Brooksby. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. He did get past Alexander Muller. We knew it'd be a tough test. Alexander Muller did take a set. Fair play to the American for grinding that one out and getting it done. In the end, a win is a win. And it's more than what Cazaux's got over here. He's got a main draw win. To win in the main draw, odds are somewhat split down the middle in this one. I don't think there's a lot to separate them. 4-6 for Brooksby on the surface, 5-7 for Cazaux. Jenson Brooksby playing at a home tournament may just prove to be a bit of a deciding factor in this one if it comes down to it. Neither one of them set the world alight on the surface. If I'm being honest with you folks, I couldn't split them apart. I think we could be in for an over. I wouldn't be surprised to see a set, a piece, or just a long one in general. Maybe a tiebreaker of 6-4 is all you would need in that. So the next one is going to be Alexei Popyrin. Martin Landaluce. I'd have to go with Alexei Popyrin in this. I would have to go with Alexei Popyrin in this one. Based on what I've seen last time out in Toronto, most definitely found what he's been searching for all season by the looks of it. Got to the quarterfinals, had himself a very good game against Zverev. He operated as a really good dog, a very decent dog over in Toronto. We were taking him to keep it close. We were taking the overs, what have you. Although he was hitting them and he was cashing it as a decent dog, I'll give him that. I think he's very easy to keep it close against as well. I really do. Martin Landaluce, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've watched a lot of this guy this season, so this is probably more down to you in what you believe you know in the Spaniard. Come through qualifying, Christian Garin, Arthur Ferry in 3, and then takes out Patrick Kipson in 3. That's the first main draw win on the hard court for Martin Landaluce all season. Let me just double check that. I don't want to be feeding you misinformation. Yeah, it is. I checked that before. I was pretty sure, but I just wanted to double check. First win in the main draw, 3 sets. Patrick Kipson. I think providing Alexei Popyrin can come into this riding off the back of the form in Toronto, you probably shouldn't need me to tell you that he should be beating this caliber of opponents. But like I said, I'm not too familiar with the Spaniard. Maybe He's a lot better than what I'm giving him credit for, but based on what I've just seen there, based on what that record would suggest, I'd be willing to roll a dice and say Alexei Popyrin gets this one done. 1.3 is a massive favourite. I don't know how I feel about that. I certainly wouldn't be paying 1.3 for Alexei Popyrin on my ticket today. You can bet your ass on that. But I do expect him to get it done. I'm expecting him to get it done. I'm praying. I've got my fingers crossed for Alexei Popyrin that what we got last week is what we're going to have for the remainder of the season. I think he really needs it. He really needs it. You'd have to agree with that. And then we've got a few more here. We've got quite a few big favourites, haven't we? Quite a few. Do we sweep them up toward? No, we'll stick with the order of play in it. So we've got the Medjedovic, Carlos Alcaraz. Speedrun time, mate. Speedrun time, folks. What do you want me to say? Like, how much is there to say about this? 1.03 for Carlos Alcaraz. You want my honest opinion? How is this allowed? How is stuff like this allowed? This is like you get them boxing matches and you get them favourites that are like 1 to 2,000 and I go, this is borderline illegal, surely. This should not be allowed. Like, 1.03 for Alcaraz. No business to be done with that. Straight set is going to be a horrendous price. Spread or nothing. Now, I always say, you're probably sitting there going, does the same rule apply? Well, if you knew, you may be going, does that same rule apply to this? 1.03 for Alcaraz, do we just look at the dog on the spread? Do we look towards an over? Not in this case. Not in this case, folks. I always say there is an exception. There is 1 or 2 exceptions to the rule, and those exceptions would be Carlos Alcaraz and a Jannik Sinner, maybe a Djokovic, maybe not so more, but there used to be 3, more so just the 2 of them now. But I fully expect Alcaraz to turn up and just destroy everyone, pretty much every time. Maybe not absolutely destroy everyone, but you know what I mean. I expect him to win all these games, and especially early doors, I expect it to be pretty much smooth sailing for him. So I don't know what that spread's going to be. I'm calling 5.5. 5.5. You'd still be able to buy a game, get yourself a set's worth of games on the spread with the Medjedovic, and you still have a well better price than what you would with Carlos Alcaraz. We do just have to throw that out there. It is food for thought if we're just hunting for the value and value alone. But you won't get anywhere going against Alcaraz. Not in this life. Not for the next 10 years probably. So I'm expecting him to win with relative ease. Maybe look towards that -5.5 if you're feeling brave about it. And then the next one, we've got Adam Walton, Daniel Medvedev. Pretty much more of the same in this. Medvedev 1.17. That's a bit too much. That's a bit too much. Am I expecting him to beat Adam Walton? Of course I am. Of course I am, but there's always a weird vibe around these Medvedev matches. Seems to have been the case more often than not throughout the majority of the season. Now the record would say he's been pretty good, and I say this all the time. 26 and 16, that's good. Going off, hearing the way some people talk about him, you'd think he'd went like 16 and 26, but he hasn't. 26 and 16 is good. 12 and 7 on the hard court. There's still a lot of games left to be played for the rest of the year. That could most definitely improve, but if you're going off the past seasons, last year 28 and 9, you can only afford 2 more losses if we're topping that. 38 and 8, the year before that 26 and 8. I'm not going to say he's regressed, but he's definitely lacking something. I don't know what it is. He seems to be lacking something. There's been a few games. There's just been a couple of games this season, and they're always these. I'm not going to say snide ones, but he tends to just put in these mad performances against very unexpected opponents, and you never see it coming. You never see it coming, man. Like Benjamin Bonzi, first round in Wimbledon. Shout out to Benjamin Bonzi for getting that done for me today. I appreciate you. But yeah, turns up gets smoked by Benjamin Bonzi, smoked by Corentin Moutet, and then there's been more, but he leaves a lot to be desired when I watch Daniel Medvedev. And I said it about Rublev, and I'll kind of say it about this one, although the odds are enormously in the favour of Daniel Medvedev, enormously in this one. Every time I watch this guy, it feels like a 50-50 as well. Maybe not as close to a 50-50, but I'll tell you this, Every time I watch Daniil Medvedev, it doesn't feel anywhere near what the price is. It doesn't. It's always like a 1.2 or 1.3, and I'm never that convinced. I'm never that sold. I'm never that sure anymore that he's gonna get this done. You know what I mean? There was a time not so long ago where it was always a no-brainer. Medvedev was just free cash. Free cash. 1.17. That's not free cash. You know what I mean? That's nothing whatsoever. But at that price, you'd expect him to come out and absolutely dog walk Adam Walton. But I can't get a read on this guy either. He had a very close game with Zverev, and then I thought he was going to get beat by Navone. It looked like he was going to get done, possibly in straight sets by Navone. He managed to pull that one back in a tie-break in the second, then done him 6-1 in the third. The Zverev game was good. Going off the Zverev game, I'd say you've probably got more than enough to keep this one close with Daniil Medvedev in a best of three. But then if you're struggling that much with Mariano Navone, it's like swings and roundabouts, innit? As we say over here in the UK, swings and roundabouts, folks. I would have to assume you're probably going to struggle with Daniil Medvedev. Those two previous games from Adam Walton kind of cancel each other out. We've wasted too much time on this considering it is a massive favourite, so we shall move on to Luca Nardi and El Shapo. 1.25 for El Shapo. We kind of flying through these ones at this point now. 1.25 for El Shapo. He has to win. He has to win. Who's the better player? Denis Shapovalov, no doubt about that. Luca Nardi did pull off the upset against Tirante. How much weight that will hold coming into this against El Shapo on the hard court, I couldn't tell you. I'd like to think it wouldn't mean a lot. Are we going to get Los Cabos El Shapo? That's what I'm banking on. If we get Mexican El Shapo, yeah, he'll definitely win. He'll definitely win. He should be winning anyway. But my God, you just don't know. You just don't know. Shapo's your perfect a live bet, innit? He's perfect a live bet, these ones. Straight off the bat, I'm looking at it going, he wins. 1.25. It's a bit of a price to pay for El Shapo to turn up and potentially ruin your day. I'm just thinking about that game against Tien. I was almost convinced he was going to do something against Tien in the second round in Toronto. No. Tiebreak 7-5. Good shit from Tien once again, but rather disappointing from El Shapo to say the least. Played so good in Mexico. Maybe we could give him the benefits of the doubt. We could chalk it off to a bit of tournament fatigue. He's had more than enough rest to be ready to go. Fresh out the box for this one. Luca Nardi shouldn't really be coming anywhere close to the El Shapo that we know and love. 11-9 for the Italian this year on the surface. 11-7 for El Shapo. That's a bit closer than what you would probably expect. But we're aware of the levels overall. We're aware of the calibre, and it's night and day. I would feel sick if El Shapo was to get BTF first round. Early doors to get sent home again over in the Masters. I don't know how I'd feel about that. So I'd be staying away from it. But I'd be going with El Shapo to get that one done as far as the prediction goes. And then we've got Tallon Griekspoor, Hamad Medjedovic. This will be a good one. It's a proper game. Got ourselves a proper game here. Providing Tallon Griekspoor wants to play, you know. Who did we take him against last time? That one. Oh, the match against Echeverry. The dreaded performance from Tallon Griekspoor. Oh my word. That weren't very promising, was it? That wasn't very nice. Fair play to Echeverry, I must say. But I mean, Tallon Griekspoor made him look like top 10, and I don't know how that makes me feel coming into this one. Medjedovic looked decent against Kovacevic. I mean, I say he looked decent. He looked more than decent. 6-2, 6-3. Say what you want about that. What were the odds in that? They were split down the middle, weren't they? You could get either one as a favourite. We did have a feeling Medjedovic could most definitely get that one done. Although Kovacevic was in with a shout too. He's been very impressive this season. Probably more impressive on the outdoor courts than Medjedovic. But looking at that, he stood no chance. And this is exactly what Medjedovic does from time to time. He's either in the best form you've ever seen or he's in no form at all. going off that 6-2, 6-3 against Kovacevic, we said it. We said it would be too strong, too powerful. So, like, playing to that backhand, you ain't got much time to set it up. And he's a dog in this one too. He's a dog in this one too. Telling Griekspoor is on a 2-game losing streak, going back to the quarterfinals over in Bastad, where he got beat by De Jong, and then that absolute shitter against Zverev over in Toronto. That was very disappointing. He didn't even win a set. Couldn't serve, couldn't play. He didn't look like he wanted to be here. Maybe he wants to be. I don't know. I assume you want to be everywhere. I don't know. I just like to think, you know, if I was a tennis player, then I'd just be very fucking grateful. But obviously there comes a time where you're just tired and you can't be arsed, and it doesn't really matter what the number is at the end of the tournament name, I suppose. If you ain't got much to give, you ain't got much to give. But I wouldn't be going there telling Griekspoor. Zverev smoked them on the hard court. He made them look crap. Medjedovic could turn up and just blast his way through Griekspoor with that serve, with that forehand. Would not be surprised to see that happen. I can see it already. I'm closing my eyes and I can just see Griekspoor blasting that fucking backhand into the net, putting them easy forehands into the net too. Yeah, unforced errors. I think Griekspoor may be entering the danger zone in this one. I would like to lean with big Hamad Medjedovic to get this one done while the price is right. I think I would lean towards him to take just the one set, and you do with that what you shall. And we will move on to Karen Khachanov and Valentin Royer. Not a lot to be said about this one, folks. We did see Khachanov get to the final over in Toronto a couple days ago, 2 days ago to be precise. Well, it'll be 3 by the time this comes out. What a run. What a run. Tip of the cap. Tip of the cap to Khachanov and tip of the cap to Shelley. What a final that was. What a final. We really did get treated. That was a brilliant Masters, that. It really was. Toronto was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Khachanov played brilliant. Played so good. Fikovic, Nava, Casper Ruud, Michelsen, Zverev ran into Shelley in the final. Took a set. Went all 3 sets. What a game. What a run. What a game. What a tournament. Went the distance, that final. You can't ask, as tennis fans, you can't ask for more than that. You can't ask for more than that. If you weren't pleased with that, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But as always, when this is the case with these deep runs, and especially with the amount of games and whatnot and the form, it eventually all takes a toll on it. It eventually all culminates into one, and you ain't got much left to give, regardless of how much you want to give it. Valentin Royer, 3-game winning streak over in Cincinnati, come through qualifying. Fikovic, Liam Draxel in 3, Fikovic in 2, and then Sebastianovna in 3. Nice, solid performance. Sebastianovna ain't exactly been in the finest of form as of late, but it's still a decent win nonetheless. I would love to go with Khachanov. If these would have played each other last week, you most definitely would have went with Khachanov. If these would have played each other any other time in the season, you would have went with Khachanov. But let's just see how he turns up. Let's see how he holds up. Even after getting to the final, I would like to think Khachanov could just dog this one out. Just dog this one out. I feel like he may have enough left to it. He may even go on another run. This is what he does. This is what Khachanov does. He's the ultimate dark horse, isn't he? Even though he didn't play like at that tournament, he played like a top 5. But just when you least expect it from Khachanov, he flies right under the radar. And I always say it, next thing you know, it's like the semi-finals and you go, fuck me, he's still here. He's still here. Khachanov to win. 1.3. Bit steep for me, given what we've just seen, the amount of games and whatnot. Fatigue could be a factor in this one. But I don't like to think like that. I don't. But you have to take it into consideration, don't you? It most definitely factors into play more often than not. So just keep an eye on it. I'd like to think Khachanov can get it done. And then we'll move on to Binach, Alexander Blockx. That's a tough one. Shout out to Alexander Blockx. Anyone take him? We said he'd beat Marcus Giron, didn't we? Proud of that one. I'm very proud of that one indeed. But he's a massive dog. Massive dog in this one coming up against Binach. Now, getting past Marcus Giron, very impressive. He's come through qualifying. You know, decent enough. He beat Luca Nardi in qualifying too. And then Luca Nardi just came through and beat Tirante. It's funny how it works, innit? You just can't write it. Came up against Marcus Giron in the first round. Could have lost. I thought he was going to win. Looked like it was going to be easy. Looked like he may have just been losing. Ended up winning anyway. Happy days. But I can't help but think Brandon Nakashima is, especially at the moment anyway, let's just say he's a bit of a step up from a Marcus Giron. I think he is a lot more solid. He's probably going to give you a tougher time than what Marcus Giron will. If I'm being honest, they played each other once before back in 2023. That went the way of the American, as we would all imagine. Semi-finals on the Challenger 6-1, 6-2 indoor hard court. 13-9 for Benak on the surface, 14-7 for Alexander Blockx. Now, he's one of them kids that I enjoy just watching. I don't know what to expect from him, but I'm enjoying watching the rise, if you will. You know, he's decent. He's only young. 2020. Well, I was going to say 2025. I was going to say he was born 2005. He's only young. I think he's decent. I think he's really, really good. I think he's only a couple of decent wins away. From everyone really kind of noticing this guy rather. Be surprised if he gets past Benak. I would. I have to admit, it would be quite the task to get past Brandon Nakashima. I don't think I've seen quite enough just yet. He's just outside that top 100, 121. Benak just outside the top 30, 32 to be exact. There's levels, isn't he? There's just levels. But I don't know. I don't know enough. I haven't seen enough for me to suggest Alexander Blockx for a set in this one. I would have to go off what I know, strictly what I know. And that's Benak is most definitely the more trustworthy in a spot like this. Very solid on the hard court. Hard to beat, hard to break. Alexander Blockx may just have to bring his best tennis today. Will it be enough? Shall remain to be seen. And then two more. We'll wrap this shit up with a nice little quick fire double, because we've got two massive favourites, and both of them I've just done some bits, went rather deep last week too. So we've got Ben Shelton, Ugo Carabelli. Should be no question about it. Should be no question about who wins this one. It should be Ben Shelton. He has just took that title, played a couple grueling matches, left a lot out there. How much has he got left to give? Back-to-back Masters. Can he do it? I'd like to think so. He's young, he's fit, he's in great shape. I would have to assume he beats Ugo Carabelli. Even not the best version of Ben Shelton may just have enough to get past Ugo Carabelli. No offence, but you know it's true. 1.1 for Ben Shelton. You do with that what you will. The same applies for what I've just said with Khachanov. We all know he should be winning. He is seeded 5th in this one as well. I imagine he comes out and wins. How far he goes, how much he's got left, it'll remain to be seen. But Ugo Carabelli, I wouldn't be going anywhere near that guy today. He did get past Nishikori. Was it Nishikori? Nishikori as a dog in the first round. Doesn't really mean that much to me coming up against Big Shelly in this one. Don't know what you're going to have to do to beat this guy. It seems a near impossible task. And then finally, for tonight, and I shall let you go about your business, we've got Basavareddy, Alexander Zverev. Nishiyesh got a win, everyone. Basavareddy won. He beat Alexander Vukic in straight sets. May I add, tiebreak 7-5. Nice, good. Now you can build. Now we can rebuild on this. You know, it ain't been that great for Nishiyesh this season. Absolutely not. It's been far from impressive. Does he stand a chance against Alexander Zverev? I wouldn't have thought so. I just wouldn't have thought so. You know, this guy a couple of weeks ago got sent back down to the Challenger Tour. Didn't really do too great. Went 50-50 on the Challenger. Comes back, beats Alexander Vukic. Was he a dog in that one? I think he was. Was he a slight dog in this? Can I find it? It's not giving me the odds. It doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, getting past Alexander Vukic, pulling off an upset if he was a dog anyway. That's one thing. Taking out Zverev, even if he has just went deep, got to the semi-finals. I know we've just said it about Khachanov and Shelton. They may be a little bit tired, but it is another Masters event. And I would imagine they'd be more than willing to at least try in these first rounds. You know, you've got to win this one. Zverev can't get beat by Nishesh Basavareddy. I refuse to believe we live in a world where that is a possibility. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know what he's going to have to do. I don't know how close he's going to keep it. I suppose that is the question, innit? To bet or not to bet. Do you believe that Nishesh can keep this within that 5.5? Maybe if you want to buy a game, 6.5. The rule most definitely does apply for this one. But I couldn't advise you for it. I couldn't say do that. No, absolutely not. I'm expecting Zverev to win, probably in straight sets. I would be shocked if Nishesh does anything against Zverev today. Maybe look at Zverev on a spread. I think he gets it done in 2. Got nothing on the over, nothing like that. It's as easy as it looks. I think it is as easy as it looks. You don't need me to sit here and tell you Zverev is going to take out Basavareddy. Absolutely not. Very well then, folks. That is going to do us for tonight. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you stopping by, as always. Make sure you like and subscribe before you go as well. I'd appreciate that too. But I'll be saying good night to you once again. You take care. You take it easy. You take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. It's the most important thing, innit? Don't know what I'm going for. Who am I going to go for today? It'll be in that pinned comments anyway. You've probably already seen it, you know. Probably a bit too late now to tell you who I'm going for. But I'll decide. I shall decide. I'll assess the situation while I'm uploading the video. And then as always, whatever I am going for, if there's anything, will be in that pinned comments. Make sure you let me know what you're going for to share with the group. Don't be shy. We all appreciate the advice. But I'll be seeing you, folks. I shall be seeing you round. Best of luck to you. It's always a pleasure. Enjoy the matches today. And I'll see you tomorrow.